All right, let's try this again. Namaste, everyone. And you can give me feedback to see if that's working, if the sound is working. Sometimes, electronics just need a little bit of tweaking. By the way, while we're on the subject, before we get into the part on healing or releasing laziness, some of you might have noticed that when you do intense meditation, that's one, or when you have an emotional explosion with someone, you start noticing your electronic equipment start messing up. Anybody had experience? Right? Things are working, and then somehow that day or those few days you're doing intense meditation, and you start noticing, hey, how come your TV, your radio, your cell phone it doesn't work well? Or sometimes you're stressed out of your mind, you have a deadline you have to meet, and your printer doesn't work. It's been working the entire time, but somehow it doesn't work. All right, let me explain. These things do happen. It's something like this. Many years ago, I remember in one of the occasions, two occasions, my teacher was in the United States and was teaching Arhatic Yoga. As far as I know, that was what he was teaching. And so we did super intense meditation. And one of the things that we do in Arhatic Yoga is the transference or transmission of massive amounts of spiritual energy. Okay? And the transference of spiritual energy has to do, now there's echo. Who's talking to who? There shouldn't be any echo. That is bizarre. Okay. There's echo on YouTube. Interesting. Maybe I'm messing up this energy, huh? Let me think. There's no reason for it to have an echo. Turn that off. Okay. Okay, I think you said it's solved. I don't know. How do you know it's not your higher soul repeating what I'm saying? It could be it. All right, anyway, let's finish this. Let's get through this. Okay. So many years ago, as I said, in our Hatha Yoga, my teacher was teaching it, and then he also gave what is called a Shaktipat, transference of energy. Okay? So imagine we do intense meditation, plus the energy pour, for a few hundred more gallons of energy. Instagram has no sound? This is bizarre. Maybe you guys are not supposed to hear this message. Maybe you're supposed to just, learn it on your own. Or if I change subject, it might work out. Okay. All right. Let me just finish it. If worst case scenario, this is being recorded, you'll hear it. No sound. Okay. I didn't do anything to it. This is plugged in. Okay. Are we having fun yet? All right. Give me a second. All right. Okay, one last check. By the way, there's lag time, huh? Okay, let's start here. Instagram, can you guys hear? I just need a yes or no. Instagram is good. All right, the other platforms. We can hear, okay. How about Facebook and all those places? YouTube is working. Okay, so on is working. Okay. Let's do this. Okay. So I was saying, let me get this out of the way. Certain instances, intense spiritual energy, like intense meditation or a spiritual awakening, or sometimes when you're stressed out of your mind, or when you have a fight with someone emotionally, and you start noticing certain electronic equipment don't work well. The question is why? Look at it this way. When you attach probes to your head, they can sense, right? If you're alpha, beta waves, alpha waves, when you're sleeping, I think it's delta waves, deep sleep is theta waves, whatever waves, okay? In other words, they can sense that these are fluctuations in electromagnetic frequencies, right? Okay, now, with that in mind, you could imagine when you have certain intense vibration, movement of energy, guess what? That also translates to affecting things that work with those frequencies. Like your computer, the sound system. This is bizarre because I'm not stressed out this morning. I don't think I am. So, whatever. It works, it works. It doesn't work, then we do the best we can. Now, same thing. When you go to an emotional turmoil, that negative emotion is very jarring. So, physically, emotionally, mentally, you're affected. Now, what people don't realize, even though you're not hitting anyone, you're not smashing your computer, guess what happens? That energy starts to affect the subtle part of your electronic equipment, also disrupting it. So what's the solution? Number one, if it's due to anger, negative thoughts, negative emotions, you should just cool it. Take a shower, do some cleansing, go do some breathing exercise. Because until that stops, it's going to keep disrupting the electronic signals. That's one. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, when you do intense spiritual practice or meditation, true, that frequency is vibrating very, very high. What happens is that energy, although it's high compared to the electromagnetic frequencies in your electronic equipment, well, if there's so much of it, it just keeps very subtly penetrating through your electronic equipment. There's the third reason, which is the one that you probably don't want to hear. It's related to the first one. Here's what happens. If your upper chakras are smaller than your lower chakras, I'm not done yet. But let's say in a span of a few minutes, the upper chakras become very big, the lower chakras become small. In other words, it's continuously fluctuating, up, down, up, down, up, down. That's called an imbalance. So when that happens, it also affects your electronic equipment. So many years ago, something like that happened. And I remember when that, after that week when my teacher was here, the following week, stuff started breaking down. I was literally, where was I? After a class, we went to dinner. No, it was lunchtime. And I was at the restaurant. I was looking at the bill. I asked the waiter, "Oh, could I borrow your calculator?" So this waiter brought it in. It was working because they were just using it on the counter. I kid you not. As soon as I touched it, I went like this. The thing died. I'm going, what the heck? So I said, okay. I figured it out in my head. So that was that. That evening, I went to my car. The car started. I was going to bring the windows down. The minute I pressed it, it just went, stop. Doesn't work anymore. And a few more things. Anyway, I don't want to bore you with details. So here's what happened. Afterwards, I talked to my teacher by phone. I said, Master, what's happening? He started scanning. He said, you're very imbalanced. What are you doing? Master was experimenting. Experimenting what? I was doing certain meditations just to kind of, let's just say, change the flow of energy. I guess I screwed up. So when he scanned me, my upper chakras were small, my lower chakras was very, very big. So it was literally like a triangle. I guess he was intense enough to mess things up. So he told me what to do, did more meditation to balance it out. Once it balanced out, I kid you not, this is the weirdest thing in the world. I'm an engineer by trade, so things don't just change like that. But after that meditation, when things got balanced, in panic healing you scan. So I scanned, it's more balanced. It stopped. Everything stopped. So anyway, this morning, I have no clue why. I have a guess, because yesterday I was doing something with a lot of energy, maybe mess it up. Well, whatever. Anyway, let's stick to the topic. Again, I apologize for the stuff. I hope you learned something. Now, let's talk about anti-laziness. Some of you go, I didn't want to hear that. All right, let's get to the point. So the goal is to be successful with your work, your finances, your health, your relationship, your spiritual development, mental development. So here, it's not just talking about money. Here, we're talking about healing or correcting what is preventing you from achieving those. Okay? Now, of course, there are myriad of reasons. Let's stick to the core energetic part. It's as simple as this. Again, there's many factors. One of the major factors is essentially the imbalance of certain energy centers. And here they are. There's 3 of them. The Ajna chakra, or in India you call it Agnya, right? AJNA. Next one is solar plexus. Next one is the basic. Yes, those 3 of them. This is active intelligence, your willpower to think, focus, and say, okay, this is the plan, we'll do this. That's the Ajna chakra. The solar plexus is love for oneself. So if you have low self-esteem, or you don't love yourself enough, you don't feel worthy enough, that negative thought form is sitting in your solar plexus. Okay? So this is what? Emotional, mental will. The solar plexus is emotional will. The third one is your basic chakra at the base of your spine, which is your center for survival and, guess what? Action. Movement. That's why you notice as the body gets older, not all, for a lot of people, they start not much to want to move. They just kind of, yeah, whatever, okay, we'll figure it out. When you remember when your body was young, what happens? You can sit still. So that's why many years ago my teacher told me, he said, do you notice when your body is young, you do more than you think? And when the body gets old, people think more than they do? I go, that makes sense. Right? That's why younger people always looked at as impulsive. They just jump. That's basic chakra. Like somebody always constantly kicking your butt. The Ajna chakra and the throat chakra, thinking, okay, let's plan this out. So when there's an imbalance, or there are thought forms inside that prevent you from thinking clearly, or thought forms in the basic chakra where you were not successful in a certain project, that negative thought form of failure is still in the basic chakra. Make sense? So, here's the plan. Supposed to be a lot earlier. But anyway, here's the plan. We'll do a short meditation, Twin Hearts, again, which is critical to do what? To open up that pipeline even bigger, to have more spiritual energy come down. And then, we're going to aim that energy to clean those limiting thoughts and emotions in the Ajna chakra, the solar plexus, and the basic. And let's see what happens in your thought process. Okay? Now, we have to be very balanced here, so we'll talk about it. Some people, they use spirituality, listen carefully, some people use spirituality as an excuse to fail. Or they use spirituality as the reason they're not successful. Okay, so I know some of you, by the time I'm done with this, you're not going to be too happy. But I'll tell you like it is. You don't like it, well, not my problem. Okay? Just going to tell you about this. I've known people who, unfortunately, they're good people, loving, kind people, where they're not financially successful. They're not achieving anything in the material world because they always use spirituality as an excuse for not achieving. She said, how is that possible? Number one, the very basics. It's stressful. I don't want to disrupt my energy. I don't want to be imbalanced. That's the first reason. Second reason. Well, I don't know what my destiny is. I need to consult a psychic, make sure I've given the right information before I put all my energy into it. In other words, they're just waiting for someone to tell them. Okay? The third one. The third reason the third reason using spirituality is a severe imbalance in the chakras. The upper chakras are very, very big. So they're very loving, very spiritual, very idealistic. But the basic chakra, which is the chakra of action, is small for whatever reason. So there's no driving force. They're like, oh yeah, we got to change the world. We got to do this. And they know everything. But they sit on their butt. There's no drive to do anything. Those alone will kill your success. So, number one, as I've shown you here earlier, not everything is directly, well, the first time, not directly has a psychic reason. The reason there was no sound, it was not plugged in. Okay? Is that because some planets are not aligned, that's why there's no sound. I forgot to plug it in. It was my mistake. That's number one. Okay? What else? The stress factor. Okay, I know some of you don't want to hear this, but I'll tell you. In order to be successful, you have to have certain amounts of imbalance. Oh, yeah, but I want everything yin and yang to be perfect. Listen carefully. When you're too comfortable, you sit on your ass and not do anything. Simple as that. If you're too comfortable, there's no drive to do anything. You say, well, that's not true. Well, yeah. Have you noticed in some of your relationships, when there's no imbalance, everything's like, yeah, cool. Honey, I love you. You love me. Okay. At some point, what happened? You're bored out of your mind. Isn't it? Because that so-called balance plateaus. So imbalance is needed to jar you. You know, inertia. So some people, that's why they're not successful. They're like, oh yeah, I don't want stress because when I get stressed, I get... They don't realize that stress is actually a little poke to your solar plexus. Say, hey, come on. You're worth more than this. You can achieve this. So that little stress that you have can either stop you or move you forward. It's a matter of perspective. So, for example, you're at your job, you're making X amount of dollars, euros, whatever your money is, you're comfortable. Yeah, I've been in this job for the last 20 years, and you know, everything's cool. I have a retirement, and so when somebody says, hey, I got a business opportunity. You know, with this business opportunity, you're going to do this. You're going to devote 3 hours a day, and so on, so on. So from there, you can create more money or create more income, whatever. And at some point, it becomes passive income, but you need to work hard at it. You know, for maybe we probably have to, as they call it here in America, haul ass for 3 months. I mean, really, we might have sleepless nights. But after that 3 months, it'll be worth it. Okay? Now, whether that's true or not, here's the point. For someone who's cruising, they say, no. I'm really comfortable. You know, I've been doing this for 20 years. I don't want to do that anymore. I did that in my whatever year. By the way, age is not the issue here. Listen carefully. So what happens? That opportunity just slips away. And because you don't want to get imbalance, even though the imbalance is a short time, it could reap benefits. Make sense? But if your solar plexus is healthy, you go, well, there's going to be a little bit of stress. Well, anytime you start something, there's a certain sacrifice and commitment. Okay, let's give it a try. And then you use your mind, you go, okay, I'll give it this much time. I'll put everything in it. Let's see what happens. Haven't you noticed there are people in your life where they accomplish something. Once they accomplish it, they look for something else? They could be in their 50s, 60s, 70s, doesn't matter. It's all about the attitude. It's all about attitude. The minute you get comfortable, you heard me talk about that a few days ago, whether you like it or not, we're moving through space-time. So when you stand still, you're still moving forward. Well, time is moving forward. You stand still, you're moving backwards. In other words, you're not progressing. And the last part, the last reason, is just simply some people are lazy. Simple as that. There's no excuse to it. And the only thing I can tell you is something like this. Never be afraid of hard work. As long as it's intelligent, efficient hard work. As simple as that. You talk to people who are successful. They put in the hours. They put in the time. It's just, unfortunately, I've seen too many people these days where they go, yeah, but I want it easy. I want it to just flow smoothly. Uh-huh. Where's that gotten you? Yeah, but I know some people, they just work so smartly. They only work 3 hours a day, and then they do this and do that, and they just make this much money. Let me ask you a question. Very simple question. Did they start out that way? No. Exactly. That's my point. They didn't start that way. It's because certain things were already built up in their consciousness, certain systems were put in place. That's why they can work a little bit and be successful. So, again, it could be cultural. Being born in a Chinese body, work in the Philippines, my in-laws, my parents. In fact, I'll just give you an example. After this, we'll meditate. My father-in-law came from China. I don't know how many years ago. 90-something years ago. He's still around, by the way. And the story is, he came from China, was so dirt poor. In order to feed his family, he had to go to these wet markets and scrape scraps of food, cook it, and feed his family. Fast forward about 30, 40 years. In his 60s. Financially doing well. More than doing well. He could probably buy several buildings cash just like that without blinking. And when I tried to talk to him more, he says, yeah, first few years was difficult. Sacrificed time with family, sacrificed time, even his body he sacrificed, because at that time, he went all in. Worked really, really hard. Plus, in addition to that, somehow it's brought to him like people that came to his mind, like, if you want to be successful, you also have to help other people become successful. So he was very, very generous. So you have the hard work, you have the good karma, and he was a smart guy. Now, the best part of this story I want to tell you is something like this. He was brought up by his grandmother, because his parents died very early. And his grandmother died in China. When he was super, super successful, he went back to China and said, hey, I want to move. He wanted to move his grandmother's coffin from that place to another more prestigious place. In the Chinese tradition, they take that very, very seriously, okay, where the body is buried. So he wanted to move it to this other place. Now, this other place, only rich people's families have their loved ones buried there. So they didn't want his grandmother, who was poor, to be brought over there. You know what he did? He bought the mountain. It's a whole mountain. He bought the mountain just so he could honor his grandmother, who brought him up in such difficult times. Do you see that? To show his gratitude to how much his grandmother has helped him and sacrificed so much, he just wanted to move her coffin, the remains, to a more prestigious cemetery or whatever you call it. They don't want it? Oh yeah? Bought the whole mountain. What's my point? You see, by working hard, working intelligently, efficiently, you get to make choices of things that are important to you. A lot of people are just, I'm going to say it, just darn lazy. Yeah, it's too much stress. You look at people who are successful. Yeah, a few hours less sleep, doesn't matter. But because I know when I do this, this is my effect. This is my result. Yeah, I want to go on that vacation, but, if I stay, I'll make an extra, 100 grand. I'll get a better vacation later on. Now, that's come to money, right? Let's talk about spirituality. So you don't think this is just all about money. So in Arhatic Yoga, in what we practice, you do pranic healing, there's different classes, and there's Arhatic Yoga preparatory level. That's like the foundation. So from there, as you practice 4 years, 5 years, so on and so on, you can move up to different levels where they teach a more advanced technique. Okay? Anyway, make a long story short. So at that time, my teacher, we were in the Philippines, and I was practicing level 3. We've been asking the teacher, Master, could you please teach us level 4? So on, so on, so on. We waited 4 years, nothing, 0. Then one time, when we went back to the Philippines for vacation, my family and I, my sister said, okay. On Tuesday, we're going to teach Ahadika Yoga level 4. Which is like, never been taught ever in history. It's like super intense meditation energy practice, right? Great. So excited, making plans. And guess what? Here comes my father and mother-in-law. Told my wife, oh, by the way, we're paying for your all expenses vacation. Some of you have heard of Boracay, right? It's very white sand beaches in certain part of the Philippines. All expenses paid for a week or whatever it was. In the same week. Now, this is like a dream vacation. Okay, if any of you been there before it got spoiled by tourists, it's a beautiful place. This is like 20-some years ago. So I'm sitting there going, advanced spiritual practice and meditation, something I've been wanting for the longest time, and to sit at the beach and have a great time, have a vacation that's beyond vacations or holiday. You can ask my wife, didn't even flinch. I'm going to go to that meditation. Go to the class. My mother-in-law says, because I heard this from my wife, my mother-in-law says, is he crazy? Do you realize how expensive this ginormous blah, blah, blah? She went on and on. You know what my wife said? That's what he wants. And I would have done it regardless. Because for me, that was important enough. Well, guess what? What I didn't realize, that was part of a bigger plan. When I attended that class, did the meditation, the energy level increased so much in the long term, that increased my energy level, my ability to teach, be more prosperous, everything else. That was like the test. So, just think about it. Are sacrifices needed? Absolutely. You cannot make those choices until you have a clear perception of what's going on and what your goal is. That's it. Anyway, I apologize for the long-winded talk, 20-some minutes was troubleshooting, but I hope you got the point. To just kind of summarize. If you want to be successful in anything, your goal has to be clear. The what. Number 2, you have to give enough compelling reason, the why. So what? Why? Why do you want to be successful? Why do you want to be healthier? Well, because I don't want to be sick. Not good enough. I want to be healthy because I want to do this, I want to do this. There has to be a bigger reason. The why has to be strong. Why do I want to be prosperous? Oh, because I want to sit down and count money. Yeah, that'll get old really fast. I want to be prosperous because there's certain spiritual projects I want to fund. I want to start this organization. I want to feed these hungry people, whatever. I want to give my children a better life. There has to be a stronger why. So what? Your goal has to be clear. Why? Compelling reason. Number 3, how? Now, some people, again, unfortunately, people use spirituality to be dumb. I'll just say it like it is. I'm still waiting for the download. I'm waiting for Spirit to tell me. Hello, your goal is to make this much money. Think of the ways you can get there. Do I know anybody that can help me create a new business? Are there ways I can increase the amount of return my investment? Is there something I can do that will generate more income? No, I'm just waiting for the download. You've been waiting for a while. Yeah, but I don't want to make a mistake. You know, one thing I've learned? You try 10 things. 8 of them go down the toilet. If 2 or 1 of them are super successful, you'll still be way ahead of the game. You realize that? I remember, this is like 20-some years ago. I was listening to Tony Robbins, I think something about, I think it's Power Talk. I forgot the name of it. Before I started working with him, I was already listening to his stuff, okay? And I remember he said, when you teach classes, There's somebody, he was talking about someone who gives seminars. This guy gives like 20 seminars a year. And he just goes one after the other. Some of them worked out, some of them were not successful. Then he goes, oh, there's another guy who only gives 2 a year. 2. He's banking everything on those 2. And something happened, whether staff or economy, whatever, it didn't work out. So he's broke. Well, the other guy, who has 20 different ones, they're not as big, but he just kept going. You know, numbers, the numbers game. He thought it through. He goes, you know, I look at it statistically. I do 20 workshops, seminars, whatever. If some of them fail, I'm still good. So what is your objective? Whatever it is. You have to have strong enough, compelling reason, and you have to think it through. What are the tasks that I need to accomplish to get there? Right? What do I need to do? Do I need to do this? Do I need this? What are the 5, 10 different things I can do to accomplish this goal? Use your head. Now, if you're not an expert there, get someone who's an expert. And the last part, which is the most critical one, is all the plans that you have, you know where I'm going with this, you have to attach a deadline. Every task that you put in has to have a deadline. By when, by when, by when, by when. Otherwise, you know what? The whole building could crumble if you don't have that schedule. You can have, yeah, I want to do this. I have to do this. These are the things I need to do. If you don't schedule it, poof, disappears. That's called emotional commitment. Without emotional commitment, I don't care how smart you are. I don't care how determined you are. Without putting a deadline or a schedule, nothing happens. Nothing. Read my lips. Nothing. And the schedule part is the part that stresses us out. Because now, if you put a schedule, then it's real. True? Not true. You sit there. I can sit there. Yeah, I do this. Yeah, you know, get out your whiteboard, draw everything out, have Excel sheets galore, have Excel sheets like 20. Yeah, this is this. Until you put a deadline, you'll never move your ass. That's how you test people. If you have employees, you have people that work for you, or you have colleagues, whatever. Yeah, let's do this, let's do that. You just ask one simple question. When? Then you look at their facial expression. If they go, oh yeah, well, you know, that's it. Throw it out. Not going to work. If you tell someone, okay, you know, this project is very successful, right? Yes, very successful. Blah, blah, blah. What are the things you do? Okay, when? When are we going to get started? Okay, I thought it out. Tomorrow we'll do this. Next week we'll do it. Then make sure you stick to that guy. Simple as that. Look at your relationships. Honey, I love you with all my heart. I love you with this and that. You go, okay, where's my ring? Or we're going to get engaged. Whatever it is that your part, your knowingness or commitment, what will solidify that commitment? That's how you test if they're serious. The secret word is when. When. You know how I learned this? I learned it from my teacher for so many years, of all the time. I go visit in the Philippines. He comes to the United States. He asked me, okay, how are we doing? How many souls have you transformed? How many? I start giving him his numbers. Okay. And how are you going to make it more? How are you going to expand it? I give him all these ideas. Then he goes like this. When? Give me your schedule. Master, I'm still putting it together. You know what he does? He walks away. Basically, everything I said before the when I couldn't answer it, all those just went, pff, don't mean anything. That's it. Simple. Commitment is everything. Without commitment, anybody can paint you the best picture in the world. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Yeah, you know, I'm planning this. Without the when, nothing happens. Because without the when, you can forget implementation. You see, once you have the schedule, the last part, the implementation, or as Nike says, doing it, just do it, is the easy part because emotionally, mentally, you're already committed. You just basically have to make your body do it. And when your body gets tired, don't feel like doing it. Oh, yeah, I don't feel like getting out of bed. You know what happens? The emotional body and mental body are so congruent, they'll say, hey, you, wake up. Ugh. That's what happens. Okay, I think you had enough of me already. Anyway, you get the point. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a short meditation. I apologize, it's way over time already. I've never had done this long, but I don't want to leave you hanging. So let's just do a short meditation. We're not going to do meditation 2.5 hours because that's at least 10-15 minutes. We'll do that on the next session tonight. We'll just do a strong I am affirmation to make your spiritual cord huge. And then, well, we use extra sauce to clean out your Ajna chakra, your solar plexus, and your basic. Okay? Now, before we do this, let's make sure we have a before and after comparison. So we know we have benchmarks. That's another thing. Always raise your standards. Never settle. If you want to be successful in anything, there's always something better. You go, that's too stressful. I'm retired. I've known a lot of retired people who are still striving to be successful. Okay? So, here's what we're going to do. Number one, I want you to think of a goal that you're afraid of. Like, I don't know, or you have self-doubt. Whatever it is. Pick one. What I want to do is pick a certain goal that you have right now that you have doubts about, but it's important enough. I want you to kind of get an idea, ask yourself, what is your level of confidence? 0 is none, 10 is, yeah, let's do it. Well, if it's 10, then you shouldn't be using it, right? Then after the healing, meditation, the healing, I want you to do a self-assessment again, if anything changed. Okay? Go ahead, pick one. It could be as simple as, I need to do this, but I don't feel like doing it because I'm lazy. Just admit it. But it's important that you need to do it, right? Okay, let's do it. Put your hand like this. Let's ask for blessings first. To the Supreme God, Divine Father, Mother, we humbly ask for your blessings. To my teacher, Master Chokok Sui, Mahagu Jumailing, we thank you for divine light, love, guidance, help, healing, protection. We thank you in full faith. So be it. Okay, tap your crown. Just focus on your crown. I am that I am. I'm not the body. I'm not the emotions. I'm not the thoughts. I am the soul. I am a spiritual being of divine intelligence, divine love, and divine power. I am that. The soul, the spiritual self. Just be still. I am that. I, the soul, am a spiritual being of divine intelligence to regulate my mind. I, the soul, am a spiritual being of divine love to regulate my emotions. I, the soul, am a spiritual being of divine power to regulate the movements of my body. I am that, the soul, the spiritual self. I am connected in one to my higher soul. I am connected in one with the divine spark, the divine spirit in me. I am a child of God. I am one with God. I am one with all. There's only oneness. Just be still. Just be still. You are the soul, you are the spiritual self. Now, to increase the size of your spiritual connection, just listen. So which means I am that. I am the soul, the spiritual self. So 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 Be still. You should have a saltwater bucket next to you, or just visualize a violet fire. Now, keep your eyes closed, just be still and listen. The divine energy is entering your crown. Your crown chakra is being cleansed. All negative thoughts and energies are disintegrated, extracted, expelled to the nearest salt water or violet fire to you. The liquid divine energy is pouring down to your forehead chakra. Your forehead chakra is being cleansed. The divine energy is entering your Ajna chakra. The area in between your eyebrows is going deep into your Ajna chakra, disintegrating, dissolving, releasing any thought forms of laziness, of doubt, self-doubt. These are dissolved, disintegrated, extracted, expelled to the nearest salt water. Continuing, the divine energy is continuing to cleanse and purify your Ajna chakra. All these negative thoughts, so be it. Just be still and flushing into the nearest salt water to you, or violet fire. The liquid divine energy is pouring down to your throat chakra. Your throat chakras are being cleansed. It's pouring down to your front and back heart. Your front and back heart chakras are being cleansed. The liquid divine energy is entering your front solar plexus and your back solar plexus, diving deep into your front and back solar plexus, disintegrating, dissolving any energies of laziness, lack of self-worth, lack of motivation to be successful. These thoughts, these emotions are dissolved, disintegrated, extracted, and expelled to the nearest salt water or violet fire to you now. And continuously doing so. Just be receptive. The liquid divine energy is pouring down to your navel chakra. Your navel chakra is being cleansed. Your sex chakra is being cleansed. It's pouring down your spine. The liquid divine energy is pouring down your spine to the base of your spine, to your basic chakra. The divine energy is entering deep into your basic chakra. Any energies of laziness are dissolved, disintegrated, extracted, expelled to the nearest salt water or violet fire to you. Just be still. The liquid divine energy is continuously purifying your basic chakra of any self-doubt, lack of motivation, any type of poverty consciousness energies are dissolved, disintegrated, extracted, expelled to the nearest salt water now. So be it. Just be still. Your basic chakras are being cleansed. Your Ajna chakra, your throat chakras are being cleansed. You don't have to do anything, just allow it to happen. If you're sensitive, you might feel something. Be still. Your Ajna chakra is being cleansed. Flush out any negative energies in near salt water violet fire to you. Your solar plexus is being cleansed. All negative thoughts, negative energies, limiting beliefs are dissolved, disintegrated, limited belief system, emotions, thoughts, dissolved, disintegrated, flush out the nearest salt water or violet fire to you now. Your basic chakra is also being purified. All negative thoughts, negative energy, any poverty consciousness, laziness energies, dissolved, disintegrated, extracted, expelled to the nearest salt water. Just be receptive, just let it happen. Om. 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 Just be still. Just be receptive. Let the energy flow on its own. Just let it work on its own. Just be receptive. Now repeat after me. I completely, deeply, permanently accept, absorb, fully assimilate all the divine healing energies. Say it. I completely, deeply, permanently, gratefully accept, absorb, fully assimilate all the divine healing energies. One more time. I completely, deeply, permanently, gratefully accept, absorb, fully assimilate all the divine healing energies, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, etherically, and physically. So be it. So be it on all levels. So be it. And so it is. Okay, just be still. Let the energy absorb. Now, just as a gift, an added bonus, just be receptive. Be aware of your base of your spine, the basic chakra. We're going to do the I am affirmation, not the prosperity meditation done by taught by us by my teacher. With your eyes closed, just put your attention on your base of your spine. Just listen and repeat silently. Master Talkox's meditation prosperity. It is in giving that we receive. As we sow abundantly, we reap abundantly. This is the divine law. As I give and share generously and abundantly, my life is blessed with great financial and material prosperity. Money flows to me easily, constantly, and in great abundance. Whatever I invest comes back to me many, many times. My life is blessed with so much abundance, so much prosperity, and so much success. I am blessed with tremendous prosperity, and I live a life of moderation, discipline, and spirituality. I am happy, I'm healthy, I'm very happy, I'm enjoying every moment of my life. So it is. May every person, every being on earth be blessed with good health, with happiness, with prosperity, and with spirituality. So be it. Now just be still. Let that energy soak into your basic chakra, filling you with lots and lots of prosperity energy. May all of you be divinely blessed by God and all the high beings, especially the angels of prosperity. So be it. So be it. So it is. Okay, slowly open your eyes. All right. This is probably the most unusual Anchor the Light meditation I've ever done. So, how you guys feel? Now, I want you to observe. How is that thing in your head now? Not in your head. How is that goal that I asked you to think about that you had doubts about? Remember, I asked you to give it a number. What was it before? How is it now? Anybody notice like, yeah, it's fine. I was worrying about nothing. Anybody notice a difference? You see, the thought forms that we create have a tendency to rule our minds and emotions. So if these thought forms are stuck in those specific chakras, and I told you already, when it comes to accomplishment, the ajna, ajna, solar plexus, and the basic are the main chakras that are affected. Some of you have asked you to think of, what is it that you're doubting? You go, I don't know, I don't remember it. Okay? So, anyway, geez, it's been an hour. So we will start again tonight at 6 hours or maybe 7 hours from now. 6 p.m. we'll do emotional healing. We'll work on anxiety, and I'm sure there's enough for us to work on. Okay, and just, you might be asking, what was that last thing you did? That's called the meditation prosperity. It's actually taught in the Kriya Shakti or the prosperity class. However, we have it available. That's why I've been looking for it as a poster. Okay, a big one you can put on your wall and you read it every day, or a small postcard like this, you put it in front of you. You always start in the morning with it. What it does, just to kind of give you the mechanics of it, when you make that affirmation, so much spiritual energy comes down, but it's not just spiritual energy. It disintegrates a lot of the weak poverty consciousness thought forms we have. And then at some point, when you make those other affirmations, it start to make your basic chakra, your throat, your solar plexus, and other chakras expand. And the aura has like little golden lights. Prosperity energy, essentially. Okay? So, that's that. Namaste, everyone. Again, my deepest apologies for the little technical stuff this morning, but we keep on keeping on, right? So we will see you about 6 hours something, almost 7 hours today. Namaste, take care, be happy, be prosperous, enjoy your life. God bless.